Just how does reason in general lead me to Christianity, is what you're saying? Um, well, first cause, right? I say that a lot. Is like, what was the first cause? That's philosophers, scientists, all agree that that's a thing. And so I definitely choose to believe that it was an intentional God that was the first cause and not some happy little accident between two molecules that we also don't have an answer for where they came from. But having an infinite God that it outstands time, like that's the best example and reason. And the God of the Bible, which you said not to mention, but the God of Christianity, Yahweh, he is the there's no other God like him. I'll say that, and then we can talk more about that if you want. Mm. Other religions. Okay. I would argue, and I do believe that God, the Christian God, is the only one that you would find if you were truly looking for a God that is not human, because God is not human at all. Like Jesus, we'll talk about that. But God himself is selfless, loving, like all of these things and a lot of the human aspects of those things are not there. Now, in other gods like the Greek and Roman gods, definitely the like Valhalla and all of the gods in Norway, right? Or the Norwegian gods. They're all very human because they're selfish. They want to be praised a certain way and they want people to serve them and they just kill them and like they say that people are like puppets to them and where God is like a relationship. Okay, my phone charger's right there. Let me grab it real quick. I like I like that. Sometimes. Mm. I think Michelangelo's paintings are very beautiful. I don't know how biblically accurate all of them are, but I do like them. Not really. I mean, I don't really like engraven images of things, but it's more so talking about engraven images of things that you worship or like idolize. So I think it's fine. No, no. If somebody was like bowing down to it, I would definitely be concerned. But yeah, obviously there's some sort of kingdom, and I'm guessing that's sorry, I can't really see very well. Is that like a dead soldier, or is that a soldier standing? Um, I don't know. I can't tell if it's the kingdom of heaven and hell's around it in there. Well, yeah, it totally looks like hell on the lava side. I just don't know. I, I could see them trying to portray that in this photo because there's not really a kingdom in hell. Is it supposed to be like, I mean, torture's happening? Okay. I just can't see. Mm, is it, well, I'm guessing you said hell, right? I can't really see all the little details you're explaining. Is it, sorry. Is it like Judgment Day or something? I mean, Satan? He's like watching. I would assume he's like enjoying people being in torment. Maybe. I don't I don't think so because I don't think this is what I would picture hell as at all. So, like it's chaos and then it is the lake of fire, but like I don't think so. I don't ever remember reading that in scripture. Could you do you mind looking up like is there a kingdom in hell in the Bible? Well, you yeah, yeah, like imagery. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So no, because when you're following Jesus, you have a relationship with him and he cares about you. Satan doesn't care about anybody. Because we're created by God, so he hates us. And so even people that are like Satan, worshipers, they're not cared about by Satan. He still hates them because they were created by God. So there's no one Satan loves that is made by God, that is human. Mm. Well, oh, you didn't, the timer didn't set for some reason. So, Jesus was powerful and is powerful, but he's predominantly and only good, and there's only goodness to be done by him. If you were gonna worship someone because their power and they're not good and they're bad, then obviously like that's not great. So, for example, Hitler, there were plenty of people that respected him because of his power, but it was not like a loving respect like Jesus. Jesus, you have a relationship with him. He mutually cares about you. He cares about you more than you care about yourself. Like, that's crazy. So, I would argue it's completely different because of the intentions behind God's power and Jesus's power versus the devil's. Also, his power is not at all close to the power of God. No. So, yeah, I'll yeah, yeah. I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, if you start right. So I guess that's like the trap of free will that we're always talking about is like yeah. So you were saying, should I be mad at God because he's too powerful and he's so powerful that he doesn't care about all the circumstances people are going through and he just lets it happen? Or should I be mad at God for being too weak to not change everything to be perfect and everything to be good? These are at least not because he's weak. So should I not worship God because he doesn't care or because he's too weak? Those are great questions. So because we do have free will, obviously there's sin in the world, and that is because of our free will. Now, God is a just God, so justice will be done, whether it's for the sick, the poor, the children that get killed, like all of these things are terrible, but the Lord will do justice for them, and they will have good life in heaven. Now, if their time on the earth was short, that's so sad, right? Because we see that as the only time they get to live, but it's not true. Like even if a child dies at 4 years old, that's all we see, and our heart aches. But their life is so much longer in the kingdom of heaven, and God has them, and they're in the company of the Lord, and they're in the company of Jesus, and that's actually really beautiful. So it's more of a perspective thing. Like, yeah, all these bad things happen, but ultimately, this isn't the end. So that's great. That's a good question. Wait, I remember talking to you about this. I said, if you have a child and the child lies one day for the very first time and you didn't teach them how to lie, but they still lied, did you create that? Did you create them lying? No, you didn't. That was just their bad decision. It was their choice. Yeah, God does create everything. Did create everything. And like no. So like does reality include sin? Our so our actions are not what God made. Like God made us, right? And like he lets everything happen for a reason. We always say that, and sometimes it drives me crazy because it gets a little cliche. But it's like so actually that's not what happened. He created us without sin. And then whenever Adam and Eve took the apple or the fruit of the tree in the Garden of Eden, that's when sin became something that humans had. So he did. He created the garden, he created the fruit, he told them the one rule out of all of the land. And since they were the first two people, their actions and he sacrificed an animal for their sin to be paid for so they could still be friends with him, right? They could still have a relationship with him. But that was the first people, and the first people decided to sin, and it has affected all of us. But that's not what God created us to do. That's not how God created us to be. That's a great question. I'm not really sure why he decided to do that, but I I don't think he's a prankster. I think he's intentional, and I think it was on purpose, but he did he did create that, and it's so you're saying should we dislike ourselves because of all of our negative potential? That's okay. So this is partially opinion, but everything in the Bible, instructions and advice, if you were living by that and you were not a Christian person, I believe you would be having a much better life than if you weren't following those things. So like um abstinence, not getting drunk, those things only alone, like outside of marriage, obviously, those things alone are blessings. Like there's just so much freedom in not choosing the opposite of that. And you're like free from a whole world of confusion and choices that you don't have to make. So I'll just put that as a small example. Because I believe that there's not true joy found in sinful things, anyways. Like, what we say is sinful are things that are negative. Like, they're honestly just not good for you, or they're not good for other people. It's not being selfless. Like, I believe that being kind to others is a good thing. Even if I, for some reason, wasn't a Christian, I would still have that value. So, even if, like, you're right, even if you're right, which I don't think you are, all of the way I've been living and do live for Christ, I think would have still been worth it, would still be worth it, because I think I'm prioritizing others, I'm living with kindness and love, and ultimately, like, I feel like I know God is proud of me for trying to live like Christ, and Christ was great for everyone, so. You asked, like, if heaven wasn't real and all of that, am I would I feel like I'm missing out on how I'm living? Yeah. No, because lying is black and white, you know. Coveting your neighbor's plate, being jealous of someone. That's black and white. So like all sin isn't just a smaller portion of, or yeah, exactly. It's not a greater portion of what is right. So it's just it's just not biblical. Why is it bad? Because I mean loyalty is such a big value. I think that's something everyone in a healthy mindset should be valuing, even if you're not a Christian. Yeah. Well, okay, in the Christian standpoint, like if they were a Christian deciding to do that, I would definitely talk to them and just tell them like, "Hey, I don't think this is healthy for you. I don't think this is a good decision. I think if you're, claiming to be a Christian and a follower of Christ, you should really reevaluate um your values of why you think this is okay because I just don't see it in the Bible in the New Testament like it says that if you want to be a respectable man in the church, you need to be a husband of one wife. Yeah, yeah. In the Old Testament, they went crazy, but I think it's because they were populating the earth. Nah, I don't know. But at some point, God did say, like, you are now only going to have one wife. And in the No, I'm not saying it doesn't count. It's just like, so the Bible's in different categories, and during like the King's, yeah. God wants an intentional and personal and small and private relationship with you. That's small. If we're looking at this giant picture of how people misuse the word Christianity and misuse even concepts of like God in the Bible and blah, 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 misinterpret things, that's big, right? But the whole point is this small relationship between me and God and you and God. And those personal relationships, it's how we get closer to Jesus and how we act because of that. That's what Christianity is supposed to look like. So those big things that are happening, like those are people that don't have a small intimate relationship with Jesus Christ. And I would offer they're not being real Christians. No, no matter. Why? Okay, you were talking about the whole Amish thing. Yeah. Well, no, my lifestyle is definitely different than the era I live in. Like, okay, I'll give you some silly small. Well, okay, I already said abstinence and not getting drunk, but I don't even wear bikinis. Like, there's just a lot of things that I take away from, I don't know, like there's values. Totally, totally. Like, there's obviously we still live in the world, but we're not of the world. That's what it says in the Bible. Like, you can be in the world, but not of the world. Like, you're not identifying with the things of the world. Does that make sense at all? Or am I just using Christian words? So, Christians do try to make an impact. You might just not see it because you're not in that world. But, like, we have so many organizations. So, again, I would offer like the word Christian doesn't mean that much. It's the small relationship with Jesus. So, all those people that are doing people wrong and all of this stuff and calling themselves Christians, I don't believe they're actually having a relationship with Jesus. I don't think they're actually trying to be like him. And that's not what a Christian is. So, I, no, I'm not picking and choosing. It's not what I want. It's like if they're acting like a Christian, they're in this box and they're going to treat people this way. If they're not acting like a Christian, then they're in that box. So, if they commit a crime or something, is that what you said? Well, I would definitely question it depending on like what it is. I would definitely, well, it depends on how close I was to that person. I would totally talk to them about it and be like, what the heck? Like, what just happened? Um, as soon as it's sin. No, there can be well, I'd say all Christians are bad Christians because like we all sin. I mean, I said I hated someone earlier today just by being just by being over dramatic and trying to be funny, and then I felt bad about it afterwards. But it was like spur of the moment and I felt bad about it, but I don't know. There's just it's more than that. It's more than just like oh, you're doing bad, so therefore you're not even really trying to act like Jesus. Like, no, it's about the heart behind it as well. Like, like what you were talking. Yeah, yeah, because I mean, we should care about it because we have a personal relationship with Jesus. Like, it does. It does. There's just a lot of Christians that don't have that personal relationship with Jesus. Even some people like in my family, I don't know if they have a personal relationship with Jesus, but they still say they're a Christian. And no, it's not about believing enough. It's maybe I would say a dedication. I would maybe say that. But I think if everybody had a really close relationship with Jesus, the world would definitely be a better place because they would prioritize treating other people like Christ would, which is with grace, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control. You see what I'm saying? If people are truly dedicated to being more like Christ and treating others like Christ, then none of that crap that you were talking about would have happened. It's supposed to be treating people that way, encouraging others. It's how you treat people based off of your relationship with Jesus and how you act. I would say the values and commandments do not adapt. But like I'm gonna use a toaster because toasters exist now and they didn't back then, but I'm not going to. Yeah, that's just that's just out of my control, you know. I was 8 years old using a toaster. I'm not gonna do that. Like I don't know what you want me to say. I don't think I can talk about that. But I think that would be a fair case to make in a different circumstance, but definitely not just living your life. Because, like, even in Africa where it's normal to have huts, Christian people have huts. So it's not like they're gonna sleep on the floor. It's like it's like is it knows no bounds. So like whatever culture, whatever region of, the world you're in, whatever your norm is, you can have a relationship with Christ. He is not in a box of, oh, you can only be this, oh, you can only be that. You don't have to grow up in a specific kind of culture or a more privileged or a less privileged kind of culture to have Christ in you and to have a relationship with him. Yeah. What? I don't understand. Oh, Sword of the Spirit, I guess? I don't know. Yeah, I don't get it. Well, like we have the put on the full army of armor of God. It's like the we talked about that one time. The Sword of the Spirit, Belt of Truth. I would say I pray. Be like, Lord, what's going on? Oh yeah, yeah. His name's Bryce Crawford. It's about the relationship. So like even if you have the good habits, you're still lacking the relationship with Christ, and that is such a blessing. That's something I saw someone else like living their life and they seemed pretty happy and I talked to them about Christ and they just seemed really disinterested because they felt like they had already tried to have a relationship with God and for some reason they weren't satisfied. And I talked to them about it for a while and it made me pretty sad because I was like, man, like I've seen so much joy and I have so much love from my relationship with Christ. And to know someone else like kind of tried, but for some reason gave up. Like, I don't know, it's just strange. So I've been praying about that a little bit. So I know what you're talking about. It's just not something I understand, I guess. Yeah, I would say so. I would say it's definitely not a good source of like I guess a spectrum of are you joyful? Oh, therefore you're a Christian. It's like that's not always the case. Definitely Christians have all emotions just like everybody else. But I do think there's a special joy and a special love that comes from Jesus. Um, you know, right, the God-sized soul. I think that's a great question. So I know I keep talking about the relationship with God, but I would say that's the selling point because it's true and that's just so different than other religions. You don't really have a relationship with Mohammed or Buddha or whoever, but you have a relationship with Jesus. Mm. What? Oh, I think we only have. I'm assuming some kids did like a Halloween costume of Jesus and Mary or something. The pose, like after Jesus dies. Um, I think there's art over it. I don't think it's like there's not a scene in the. Mhm. That's not a scene in the Bible or anything, but I think there's some paintings. There's a lot of him as a baby. Ah, Pieta, is that what it's called? Yeah, yeah. That's sad, right? It's supposed to be, yeah, after he was like whipped and he's dead in that photo or picture. I think it bothers me whenever people um here's my thing. You know how Chick-fil-A wait, we're almost out of time. Okay, I'll give you a short version. Chick-fil-A won't let Oh, that's right, that's right. So Chick-fil-A won't allow their employees to go out in public wearing their uniform because if they do something stupid or illegal, they don't want people taking video and being like, "Oh, this Chick-fil-A worker did this illegal thing." I think of it the same way. Like, if you're wearing a cross, I used to kind of assume people were Christians and that they knew what that meant. But then I started asking people, like, oh, you're wearing a cross, are you a Christian? And so many people said no. One girl actually asked me, like, what are you talking about? What is that? And I was like, you live in America. How do you not know what Christian means? And it was so eye opening. It was crazy. So I talked to her about it a little bit. But, anyways. Die hard. Dedicated. Like what I was talking about? Very few. Um, I'd say lukewarm. That's a good word. Um, I don't really know. I think there's statistics for it, but I'm unsure. Hardcore. I would say like a dedicated Christian. It doesn't have to do with like how many times a week they read their Bible or anything like that. It has to do with like if they prioritize the Lord in their everyday life. Like, is it who they're talking to? Is it who they're thinking about? Like, if you would that, I mean, you go for it, boy. But I'm no, I'm not gonna be Amish. I think they, I think it's like, you know what? We should, that would be kind of fun to do more research about, like why are the Amish the way they are? But I, yeah, I don't know how to talk about that because like I don't know enough about the Amish to have an opinion. But I will say that's definitely not being the light of the world. You can't evangelize to people when you're stuck in your little village that you don't have a car to go drive to talk to people about Jesus. You don't have money that I mean, heck yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a whole life that I wouldn't have if I was Amish. I think it's more culty than it is good. Like they say there's good things, but I think it's kind of I don't say anything. No, I don't swear. Um, what do I say whenever people have passed away? I don't say that because I think it's like kind of demeaning of the pain. Um, if they're like if they're actually a Christian, then yeah, I would believe that. But yeah, I don't say any of those things, I don't think. I try not to say good luck. Sometimes I do. Yeah. Yeah. I I still think it's like saying the Lord's name in vain, so I don't say it. And if somebody's not a believer, then it's like they're not a believer, but I still don't like I don't like when people say it, I guess. When people say I mean, if they say thank God, then I'm like, that's interesting. They think a good thing came from God. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like that as much, I guess. Yeah, yeah. There's hatred, yeah. Yeah, I mean, somebody said that even the demons believe in God, and even the demons believe Jesus is Lord, but they're not in relationship with him. They're not going to heaven because it's different. I'd almost rather them not believe at all because I think if you have a hatred for God, it's like you're deciding that he's real and you're too proud to acknowledge that he is good, and it's just kind of sad. Mm-mm. I don't know. What are you talking about? Like something that's scary that's happening? I don't know. Is this a trick question? I don't know. I don't even curse. I don't even curse, bro. Oh, okay, okay. I get what you're saying. Like, I know what you're talking about. No, I don't want to. I know what you're talking about. I'm not gonna say it on camera, man. You know what you're talking about. No. No, I understand what you're saying. You're saying like saying God and Jesus is the only ones that aren't about those topics. Is that what you're trying to say? Like, um, I guess like profanity, like I don't know what. A dog. A female dog. Okay. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I guess I see that. Yeah, yeah. I see that. Yes. Mhm. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like like they're trying to reach for like the highest thing. Like the highest feeling, you think? Like cuz that's I mean, people do it today that are not Christian. They have the expectation of getting married and being the man of one wife and the wife of one man, and it's pretty normal. Like, yeah, divorce is real, but for the most part, it's a normal thing in society to only be married to one person for the rest of your life. On the marriage? Hmm. I think divorce is bad. I don't think anybody thinks divorce is good. If they do, that's pretty weird. Um, yeah, that's a great point. And that's actually in the Bible as well. If you're being abused, specifically if you're physically being abused, um, or if you're being cheated on, you are permitted a divorce. Like, it's okay, kind of a thing. But there's also Bible studies just for people that have been through divorce because it's way more common. It's way more common now, which is strange. I don't know how to wrap my head around all of that because it's like they have entire Bible studies just for people that have been through divorce. And me, in my mind, I'm like, divorce isn't biblical. Like, why did that happen? But I don't know their circumstances. And so it's like, I can't judge them, even though I want to, you know? Hmm. I mean, I have non-Christian friends that still value like a monogamous relationship between one person. Like even I've had a friend that's been talking to me recently and she was saying that she's just so glad she's not a Christian, but she's so glad that her boyfriend is loyal to her and there's just them together. They don't want to do more than that. But I know like there's a lot of what you got going on here? Hmm. What do you want to do? Here, let me zoom in here. Um, Bible man, LOL. Guess we could do Harry Potter with Christianity. Are you asking? So, it's actually an allegory for Jesus. Whoa, what's happening? Are you still there? Okay, sorry, I'm doing a phone call. Yes. No, it's just kind of a coincidence, I guess. Um, call. In the beginning, yeah. Mm-hmm. Um, is that the first page? So the first chapter, is it 31 verses? I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the first chapter, so it's so short, but they're all very short. Do you want me to get my Bible? Okay. In the beginning, God created. Okay. Um, I don't know. This will be similar. All right. Let's see. That's proper open. Yeah. Just- it's the part that is before Jesus. So like it's the old law, the old covenant before the new law where Jesus came. So, okay, let's see. Chapter 1. You want me to just start reading? Okay. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be a vault between the waters to separate the water from water." So God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above it. And it was so. God called the vault sky. And there was evening and there was morning, the second day. And God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear." And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds." And it was so. The land produced vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seeds in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning, the third day. And God said, "Let there be light in the vaults of the sky, and separate the day from night, and let them serve as signs and to mark sacred times and days and years." and let them be lights in the vaults of the sky to give light on the earth. And it was so. God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night. He also made the stars. God set them in the vault of the sky to give light on the earth, to govern the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said, let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky. So God created the great creatures of the sea and every living thing with which the water teems, and that moves about in it, according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. God saw that it was good. God blessed them and said, be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the water in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth. And there was evening and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, the livestock, the creatures that move along the ground, and the wild animals, each according to its kind. And it was so. God made the wild animals according to their kinds, and the livestock according to their kinds, and all the creatures that move along the ground according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. And then God said, let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish of the sea, and the birds of the sky, over the livestock and all of the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them, male and female he created them. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it, rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seeds in it. They will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds of the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has the breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food. And it is so. It was so. God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning, the sixth day. Yeah. And then it starts chapter 2. But this is a big Bible. This like has really large font. So usually my other Bible, I think it's in the car. It's just a different like this one's This one's like a kid's version, just because it has like different explanations and stuff, and it talks about like the plants and stuff. Um, isn't that so cool? So I wonder that too sometimes because in the Tower of Babel is when God confuses all the languages and like makes everybody say like speak in different languages. And I always wonder like what was the original language? Like what was the first one? And I have no idea. Isn't that crazy? Right. So whenever Abraham wrote all of this, God was telling him what to say and like what happened. I don't know if he was like telling him in his mind, like telekinesis. Yeah. Oh, totally. He speaks every language. He speaks any language that he speaks. Period. It doesn't matter how. Yeah. Or people knew languages. Oh, God can speak. Um, he can communicate. Like he knows no bounds. Like there's no there's nothing. Uh, well, yeah, but like he can still reveal himself to you. Oh, what time is it? Yeah. Yeah, you should look through it. Yeah, there you go. You're starting to become, look at you doing a Bible study. I knew you would. Yeah, totally. That sounds great. Not really. It's kind of like a letter. I just say like, "Hi God, how's it going?" You know? Okay. All right. Lord, thank you for this time I've gotten to talk to Nick. God, I pray that just as we've been getting to talk about you, like, Lord, I feel like I've grown in remembering scripture and stuff. Thank you for that. And thank you for all of the cool questions that Nick comes up with. And thank you for his creative mind. I pray that you just keep him safe during the weather and that he gets home safely tonight, Lord. And I pray that he keeps asking good questions and that I can give him good answers that make sense and are not accidental hypocrisy. I love you, Lord, and I pray this all in your name. Amen. No. Mm-mm. Okay. Bye.